We bring you the latest updates from the Pna Newsroom. The Marcos administration is set to establish the Economic Development Group that will handle the country's economic problems. Finance Secretary Benjamin Diokno said he will serve as the group's chair together with the Secretary of the National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA. The group will be made up of the Presidential Management Staff, Department of Trade and Industry, Department of Budget and Management, Department of Agriculture, Department of Public Works and Highways, Department of Transportation, Department of Information and Communications Technology, Department of Energy, Department of Science and Technology, Department of the Interior and Local Government, and Department of Labor and Employment. NEDA will act as the secretariat for the group.
Itong committee na ito ay it's called Interagency Committee on Inflation and Market Outlook. So hindi na magiging ad hoc yung kasi pagka parang nag-create ng committee pagka mag-import na, no? Ganun. Eh minsan mali yung timing. Kasi magdedesisyon ka mag-import tapos darating dito sa atin, tama-tama nag-aani naman yung mga farmers. So, umaangal talaga sila. So, dapat talaga i-forecast mo yung, there should be a scientific, science-based forecast. No? Madali naman mag-forecast ng production. Gamitin mo satellite o kaya yung, para makita mo na pag nagtanim pa lang, so, malalaman mo na how many hectares have been planted. Ganun. So, nakikita mo yung development. Tapos kung magkaroon ng bagyo, makikita mo rin through the satellite. So makikita mo. So we will use that kind of model, no, to forecast.
To prevent additional deaths by the so-called welcome rights by fraternities, senators are looking to amend the Anti-Hazing Act. This after 24-year-old chemical engineering student John Matthew Salilig dies after undergoing welcoming rites by the Tau Gamma Phi fraternity. During a committee hearing, Senator Raffy Tulfo said the school administration and the owner of the hazing site should be held liable, particularly if they were aware of the behavior but took no action.
From now on, gagawa po tayo ng batas na ang lahat na may-ari ng venue at nag-facilitate doon sa initiation ay mananagot at kakasuhan ng reclusion perpetua pag may nangyaring hazing. No if and buts. Lahat ng mga owners ng venue dapat makasuhan at maging ng mga nag-facilitate. At lahat ng opisyal ng fraternity chapter ng school na yan kung saan naganap ang hazing, kakasuhan din ng reclusion perpetua dahil hindi magaganap ang isang initiation pag walang go signal o hindi alam ng mga heads ng chapter na yan o heads ng mga school na yan.
Meanwhile, Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa believes that the prevalence of fraternity hazing is due to lapses in implementing the law.
Kahit na araw-araw tayo mag-aaminda ng batas, kung ang implementation ay talaga nagkukulang, ang pag-observe ng batas ay nagkukulang, ay meron pa rin mangyayari. Kaya siguro ito ngayon, kung mag-amendment tayo nito, again, another amendment to this law, baka talagang bibigyan na natin ng din yung mabigat na parusa sa school administration na hindi ino-observe, hindi implementar itong provisions ng batas na ito, at saka itong fraternity or sorority or organizations na nagkakandak ng initiation rights.
Senator Robin Padilla said he is saddened over the possibility that the suspects, who are teenagers and students, may spend the best years of their lives behind bars for their involvement in the crime. He said officials from Adamson University agreed to assist the accused after he reminded them of their responsibility as the second parents to all of the school students. Senator Francis Tolentino, chair of the committee, meanwhile suggested modifying the anti-hazing law by including local government entities and establishing the school's accountability in place of parents. To date, 18 of the 22 individuals involved in the death of Salilig have been identified. Brigadier General Jose Melencio Nartates of Police Regional Office in Calabarzon said 6 of the 18 suspects have undergone inquest proceedings, including Perry, who surrendered over the weekend. The provincial government of Cebu has banned the entry of live hogs and other pork products from Negros Island to prevent the spread of African swine fever virus or ASF. This after authorities detected ASF virus samples from pigs in Carcar City on March 1. Governor Gwendolyn Garcia suspended on Monday the movement of pigs from neighboring provinces to protect Cebu's 11 billion peso hog industry. Cebu's provincial veterinarian Dr. Mary Rose Vincoy said the blood samples came from pigs that commingled with other pigs from Negros. As such, all local government units are tasked to monitor hog farms in their localities, while strict border control, veterinary quarantine, and cargo and passenger inspections will be implemented in all ports of entry. The suspension will last until April 5. Meanwhile, the Department of Health expressed concern over rising cases of hand, foot, and mouth disease, or HFMD, in Eastern Visayas. From 22 cases last year, 116 HFMD cases, mostly male aged 17 years and below, were recorded by the DOH from January 1st to February 25. HFMD is transmitted through contact with nose and throat discharges, the saliva of infected persons, and contaminated objects. Symptoms include fever, sore throat, rashes, blister-like lesions in the mouth area, blistering, irritability in infants and toddlers, and loss of appetite. To prevent contracting HFMD, the DOH advises the public to wash hands with soap and water and use of alcohol-based sanitizers. And to further boost the opening of the country to tourists and travelers, tourists will no longer be required to wear face masks and present proof of full COVID-19 vaccination while visiting tourist spots in the country. In a memorandum issued by the Department of Tourism, tourism establishments will also no longer need to install barriers, dividers, signages, and other devices on mandatory protocols. The DOT also said it will no longer issue the Philippine Safety Seal and the World Travel and Tourism Council Safe Travel Stamp as requirements for tourism enterprises. Detailed information about individual guests and groups booked while the establishment will also no longer be required. The DOT said that health and safety guidelines in the tourism establishments are being eased as the national government liberalizes COVID-19 restrictions in the country. Tourism Secretary Cristina Garcia Frasco said the relaxed guidelines aim to ease the economic hardships of the tourism industry brought by the pandemic and to show that the country is open to visitors under the Marcos administration. And that is the latest and the biggest stories from the PNA Newsroom. For more news content, visit our webpage or head onto the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. We are also shown on the Facebook page of the Presidential Communications Office. I am William Theo. We tell stories that inspire change. Good night, everyone.